This is Campus News, reporting the top stories from colleges and universities.
Next on Campus News, watch how students are rehearsing for the bloodiest musical in stage history.
See how one MSUM basketball coach is kicking off his shoes for charity.
Hear from one NDSU student who is looking beneath these bubbles to change how we wash our hands.
But first, see how an adjunct professor brings real-world experience to the classroom. Good morning and welcome to Campus News. I'm Jessica Gulseth.
And I'm Brian Ashburn. Momentum is growing behind the movement for fair treatment and better wages of part-time professors. Congress held a 6-week-long forum in which almost 850 adjunct faculty were able to speak up about their working conditions. They say they are overworked, underpaid, and aren't provided necessary tools for them to succeed in classrooms.
I caught up with MSU Moorhead professor Liz Conmee to get an inside perspective of the adjunct world.
Liz Conmee has been meeting with students, offering professional advice, and sharing her experiences at MSUM for 15 years. Students say she offers valuable lessons full of real-world experiences.
I teach 2 classes and it's delightful.
She thinks it's a great job, and her students say they benefit from having an adjunct teacher.
I think they bring something unique to education that regular professors don't. Since they are working in the field, they can bring in real life and current examples.
Here at MSUM,
I think we're probably fairly well off in Minnesota compared to the rest of the country.
nationally, not everyone feels the same.
I think there's some people that are being taken advantage of.
Politicians and adjuncts are speaking out about the working conditions of these part-time instructors. They say they lack good benefits and aren't being paid well compared to full-time professors.
Adjuncts make roughly $4,000 per class that they teach. That salary would not be the equivalent of one of our full-time faculty members.
But the part-time position isn't intended to pay the rent.
Ideally, adjuncts are people who do have other full-time jobs and are teaching because they enjoy it, because they want to share their enthusiasm and their knowledge with students.
And that's the case for Liz Conmee.
Whatever I'm doing in my day job always feeds into this class, so it's a really good thing.
A benefit for both her and her students.
A House committee released a 36-page report following the forum. Supporters hope the national dialogue will create a push for working conditions to improve.
The family of a college freshman in New York who died during a fraternity hazing ritual is suing Baruch College for his death. Court papers say 19-year-old Michael Dang was attending a Pi Delta Psi gathering where frat members tackle blindfolded pledges in the dark multiple times. The pledges are also weighed down with backpacks filled with sand. Authorities say Dang was knocked unconscious. Frat members Googled his symptoms but waited an hour to drive him to the local hospital. The death has been ruled a homicide, and Dang's family says those responsible for his death should be held accountable to the full extent of the law.
While it may only be March 1st, college students are already thinking about where to live next school year. Reporter Jordan Schreier compares the cost of on-campus living and off-campus living.
With the semester about halfway over, students are faced with a choice: on campus.
I live in Dahl this year, and I like Dahl.
Or off campus.
2 blocks.
That is the question.
At any point in time, we're probably getting phone calls up front asking those very questions about, hey, I'm curious about what my options are for next year.
Number 1 priority for many.
We wanted really cheap rent.
The cost of her 3-bedroom, 2-bath is $1,350.
It includes utilities, but not electricity.
Add in electricity.
It's less than $100 total.
Divide that by the 4 roommates in a 3-bedroom.
2 people share the master bedrooms.
You get a total of $362.50 a month, and that's with a high electric bill.
So the double room for Dahl is $2,555.
Divide that by 5 months in a semester for $510 a month. And while both of them share a bedroom, the bathroom is another issue.
Sharing a bathroom with like a ton of people can kind of be annoying.
The dorms also don't have personal kitchens or living rooms, but they have a convenient location.
5 minutes, I'd say. I could like walk to class. I'm a pretty fast walker. I got short little legs, but I can walk pretty fast.
A quick walk to the dining center, too.
For supper, I go there.
And that has a price.
50 meals is $400.
Or $8 a meal, compared to Amanda's grocery bill.
$100 a month.
And Erica says she also spends about $100 a month on her groceries, putting the total for Amanda at $462.50 a month and $690 a month for Erica. Although off-campus housing proved cheaper in this scenario, that might not be the case for everyone. With photographer Melissa Steffen, Jordan Schreier, Campus News.
Students say websites like Apartment Finder or Craigslist are helpful resources to help find off-campus housing.
Not long ago, we told you about Andrina Brogdon, an MSUM freshman who sang her way to the main stage of American Idol. Andrina made it through Hollywood auditions and Hollywood Week to secure a spot in the top 31. However, when the judges whittled down the contestants from 31 to 20, Andrina didn't make the cut. Andrina says she is disappointed by the outcome, but that her experience on American Idol has given her confidence to pursue music in the future. A former MSUM Dragon will be hitting the red carpet tomorrow on Hollywood's biggest night.
Look at me. Sure. Look at me. I'm the captain now.
Barkhad Abdi will be at the Academy Awards, nominated in the Best Supporting Actor category. He is nominated for his portrayal of a Somali pirate in Captain Phillips. Abdi attended MSU Moorhead after his family migrated from Somalia to Minneapolis when he was 14. Before filming Captain Phillips, Abdi was a limousine driver in Minneapolis. The Academy Awards air tomorrow night on ABC. The Little Country Theater at NDSU opened their spring season with Revenge.
Reporter Meredith Wathney brings us back to the 18th century to tell the tale of Sweeney Todd.
The Festival Concert Hall stage was taken over by students rehearsing for the first production of 2014, Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
Goes by John.
I've seen the show produced a number of times in a number of different ways, so I'm taking bits and pieces from what I liked.
Yada, and then you're here being so annoying.
This show isn't all about the leads.
Being an ensemble member is really exciting for this show because it's really essential in telling the story. Most ensembles are on there for a little bit just to kind of be like the showy, jazzy, musical theater stereotype, but it's really essential for the ensemble to help the audience understand what the process is Sweeney is going throughout the story.
After spending 15 years in an Australian prison camp, Sweeney makes his way back to London to find his family, only to discover his wife is dead and his daughter is in the care of the very man who sent him away.
The man who he was is gone. He chooses this alias, Sweeney Todd, because now he lives for revenge on the man who has sent him away and who has ruined his life and his family.
3 times.
Students spent almost 2 months rehearsing for opening night. With photographer Darby Fike, Meredith Watney, Campus News.
Kate Galvin is a freelance director from Philadelphia and came to NDSU specifically for the Sweeney Todd production. MSU Moorhead students recently got to rock their bowling shoes thanks to an event put on by Intramurals. MSU Moorhead students competed on teams at Sunset Lane's Cosmic Bowling. Students who went to the event were given a discounted price of $5 for 2 hours. As the lights went out, students rocked out while aiming for a strike. The MSUM intramural staff say they are happy to give students an opportunity to have fun without a big-time commitment. Intramurals provided transportation for students to and from the event. For some college students, dropping beats and mixing music is just a hobby. However, MSU Moorhead has a major that allows students to take their love for music and make a career out of it.
Reporter Aristides Serrano shows us one student who spends more time in the recording studio than the classroom.
The drum sound that I want.
Eric Jensen is a music industry major at MSUM, and he is one of the primary go-to students when others have questions about the recording studio.
It's an extreme passion of mine. I just enjoy doing it, so it doesn't take much to convince myself to, let's go record this band or let's mix this project.
Assignments of the major include searching for local music talent, recording and producing a new CD, and managing the release for the student-run Undeclared Records.
Day and night, students at MSUM frequently call Jensen for help in the music studio, and he estimates that he's helped nearly 100 students.
Roland Alendu and Eddie Yamba are 2 MSUM rappers that have been working with Jensen for a while, and they have made several songs together.
That's his major, so he keeps up with that, and then he helps us come out with the best music we can, so it's been awesome working with him.
alright. Getting money.
Having this studio on campus and students like Jensen allows any student with a passion for music to thrive, regardless of major.
MSUM having the studio has created a lot of opportunities for a lot of students. I'm not a music major, but I still get the opportunity to use this.
As Alendu and Yamba write their next song, Jensen will be ready to help them create a hit. Aristide Serrano, Campus News.
Outside of the recording studio, students learn how to manage musicians on campus and at local concert venues.
A renowned ceramic artist is bringing her worldly experience to the NDSU Art Studio. Megan Mitchell has been selected for the 2014 James Rosenquist Artist in Residency. Mitchell will spend the year sharing her expertise in ceramic and printmaking by teaching classes and workshops. She began her art career as a student at Carleton College in Minnesota and has since traveled across the country learning more about her craft. Mitchell says she hopes her courses push students to think outside the box.
My biggest hope is that they, in some ways, exceed their own ideas of what they could do.
Mitchell was selected out of the pool of applicants from across the world. The residency is named after James Rosenquist, a local visual artist.
It seems nowadays there's a website for just about everything. For over a decade, college students have been using one website where they can voice their opinions on past professors. Reporter Jocelyn Horostowski talked with students who use the website to make their class decisions.
It's a very interesting website.
I've tried to plan my schedule according to what I think will be a good professor based on those reviews.
The website, RateMyProfessors.com, has been up and running for more than a decade and features over 14 million different reviews on over 1 million different professors at 70,000 different institutions across the nation. Any student can write a review on any professor, and anyone with a computer can see the reviews. So, what does a college professor think about the site?
I seriously am the only professor I've ever met that likes Rate My Professor.
What I love it is a tool for students to communicate with other people. I mean, if you have to put a little cartoon chili pepper on it to do, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sort of okay with that.
The website has kept up with social media changes throughout the years. RateMyProfessors.com has a Facebook page, a Twitter feed, and an Instagram account. There's even a free iPhone app that students can use to look at professor information on the go. And at the end of the day, the website does not determine the student's overall class experience.
It helps guide me in the right direction to get a good professor, but it doesn't determine whether I will like the professor or not.
With photographer Hans Kammerer, Jocelyn Horostowski, Campus News.
The website also features a separate blog page, Professor Strike Back, where professors can argue against what their reviews say.
Central Michigan University researchers will have their eyes on the sky to do their research with a new unmanned flying vehicle. They'll use an attached high-tech camera to take pictures of wetlands. The brightness in the picture will help them study different characters of plants in the ecosystem. Researchers can use a remote control or computer program to operate the unmanned vehicle as it flies 400 feet above the ground. The 6-foot-long helicopter cost the College of Science and Technology Department $140,000. The vehicle will be flying through the air by April or May.
Students are turning their ideas into inventions at NDSU's Innovation Challenge. Reporter Ariana Babcock reports how one student hopes to clean up the ways employees wash their hands.
Bagel and a hash brown patty. When restaurants are handling your food, do you ever wonder just how clean the employees' hands are? NDSU electrical engineer Waylon Linsa definitely does. He wondered so much that he found a soap additive to show just how clean someone's hands are when you put them under a UV light.
We can kind of measure the white intensity and the tint or the shade of the white to determine what areas have been washed properly.
Waylon's motivation for the Wash Warden project came after learning about the germy encounters we have each day. Recent studies showed that this keyboard is 5 times dirtier than this toilet seat. When he realized these germs are everywhere, he wanted a way for employees to prove their hands were fully clean.
I think it would be kind of cool to see, just to make sure that you're
actually washing your hands, right?
You've all had the experience of walking into a washroom and seeing that sign, employees must wash hands. And then they go back and they make your burger or they do something else, and wouldn't you like to know that they've actually washed their hands?
Whalen says he is patenting the Warden Wash project in hopes to make it a marketable product.
Without the Innovation Week, I don't think it would have went very far. It would have been just kind of an idea that went, in and out of the head.
In the meantime, we better stay busy reading the signs warning us to wash our hands clean. With photographer Nick Broadway, Ariana Babcock, Campus News.
All Innovation Challenge finalists are part of NDSU's Innovation Week. Those 20 competitors will give oral presentations on March 5th.
NDSU has reached an agreement with Eleanor Coatings of Fargo to license chromium-free technology. The agreement allows Eleanor to expand the coating to marine and automotive markets. The coating, which allows cars to go longer periods between maintenance checks, is something only Eleanor offers. Aluminum is a specialty of Eleanor, something the company says is rising in popularity.
It's aluminum. It's a material that is going to get more and more famous in the future because of the need of lightweights and fuel reductions.
Batoki says aluminum is more effective and safer from the environment than current coatings, which use steel.
Computer scientists and engineers at Harvard are going hands-off while the robots get hands-on experience. Harvard's School of Engineering and Weiss Institute created a robot construction crew that works by changing to their environment. Each robot has a claw, is 6.8 inches long, and 4 inches high. Researchers say they were inspired by termites who work in groups and make changes with an unspoken communication. The robots climb, carry blocks, and attach them to the structures, and are independent of one another. Researchers say in the future these robots could lay sandbags for flood preparation or even perform tasks on Mars. It's not just the wind, Bison football team, or marching band making noise at NDSU. One student is bringing his own beat to campus.
Reporter Brianne Lensmeyer shows us how he can be heard around campus.
John Olhoff is off to class. But it's not a backpack that he is carrying. John totes a portable boombox that pumps music throughout the NDSU campus as he makes his way to class. But how did this freshman bioengineering major from Barrett, Minnesota start making these on-the-go music sessions?
It's a pretty good story how it all started.
Olhoff started last year by making a boombox for each of his classmates in high school. Since he has made more than 15, and he makes them out of old thrift store suitcases. From the amp, to the battery, to the box, to the song, John specializes in it all. From outlining the speakers, to drilling the hole, and ripping out the insides of the suitcase, John fine-tunes each detail. From the God box to Azul to the Bison box, John puts a special note on each boombox. But the real reason he does it?
The whole goal behind it's just kind of getting people to smile and have a little bit better day.
Olhoff says at first people were skeptical of him walking around playing music, but now students often show their appreciation.
I kind of let the boomboxes do all the talking for me and maintain kind of a mysterious figure. I'm the boombox guy.
Olhoff plays all types of music and says he hopes to continue making boomboxes throughout college.
Just like that. Sky's the limit.
With photographer Melissa Steffen, Brianne Lensmeyer, Campus News.
Olhoff is part of the marching band at NDSU and took a boombox to Frisco, Texas when the Bison football team played for a national title.
And now we turn it over to Kenny Buck for a look at this week's sports.
So a local football player got a chance to show off his skills this past weekend.
Yes, he got to show his talents to the top NFL scouts. The NFL draft is still a few months away, but the NFL Combine gives us a sneak preview of who to look for in this year's draft. A familiar name was invited to the Combine, North Dakota State University's own Billy Turner. The 6'5", 315-pound left tackle showed his skills last Saturday, impressing scouts running a 5.16 40-yard dash while getting 25 reps at 225 on the bench press. NFL.com points out his strengths of having big hands and also being light on his feet. Turner has room for improvement in his footwork and technique, according to the site, which gives him a grade of 5.24. This grade translates to an NFL backup or special teams potential, according to the official site of the NFL Combine. Several area university head coaches are taking a few steps in the right direction for a good cause. Reporter Haley Foster has more on who's putting their best foot forward.
Shoes. You may not notice how convenient they are until you're pacing up and down a court barefoot, like MSUM head basketball coach Chad Walthall. Walthall went shoeless in the men's game against Minot to raise money and awareness for the Samaritan's Feet organization. Samaritan's Feet is a worldwide organization that collects shoes and puts them on the feet of kids in need.
And I think this is a really good cause that just, maybe a lot of people might not know about it. And because over the years, it's something that really hasn't been talked about a lot.
In 2013 alone, Samaritan's Feet managed to distribute over 1.1 million pairs of shoes. Coach Walthall isn't the only coach participating in the cause.
It just so happens that all the coaches are all on the same page and all very supportive of it. And it's great to have really every college basketball coach doing it.
Although this is Walthall's first year giving up his shoes, he plans to continue his participation and hopes to achieve two main goals.
Just to make people aware of it. That's number one. Number two then is just to continue to maximize our efforts moving forward to see what else we can do to help kids and people with nothing to wear on their feet.
Until then, Walthall has to come up with a game plan, where and when he'll take his shoes off, and find ways to avoid getting his feet stepped on. Haley Foster, Campus News.
Samaritan's Feet will be celebrating their 10th anniversary this April. MSU Moorhead is helping summer athletes stay in shape during the cold winter months by offering a pool to triathlon competitors. These local competitors meet twice a week at NEMSIC to get ready for the summer events. Athletes in this event put their main training focus on swimming. This leaves the running and biking practices to be done on their own while it's warm enough to go outside. MSUM swimming coach Todd Peters supervises the practices as well as offers workouts and tips to improve their times.
They also get together and do some runs on Sunday mornings and Wednesdays, and it's just a way to push yourself a little bit and having other people work out with you so you're not doing everything on your own.
Peters has participated in numerous triathlons, including a half Ironman and Superior Man in Duluth. The name Monk has become synonymous with wrestling in the FM area. And although they wrestle at different schools, both brothers are keeping a close watch on one another. Reporter Tim Bullock has more on the dynamic duo of Connor and Stephen Monk.
While Connor Monk gets ready to wrestle, his brother Stephen Monk watches from the stands. The Monk brothers have been wrestling for years and they show no signs of stopping.
We just kind of started in youth programs when I was back in kindergarten, and he also started at around the same time and just worked out our way up all the way through middle school and high school.
Connor Monk is a senior on MSUM's wrestling team and has a record of 11 wins and 10 losses.
When you're an upperclassman and it's, you're on your last year, it's pretty much your job to help out the people that are getting started.
On the other side of the Red River, Stephen Monk wrestles for NDSU and has a record of 29-1. With his impressive talents, Stephen has accomplished a lot.
I knew I could compete at the Division I level, and I didn't know how far it'd take me, so I've definitely come a long way since my freshman year.
Stephen is ranked 3rd in the nation at his weight class, but he doesn't let his rank go to his head.
Everybody you wrestle in college is going to be tough, and if they're ranked or not, they're still a good wrestler.
After 4 years of wrestling at different schools, do they wrestle each other?
In a competitive match, we really haven't. In practice, we have. Doesn't usually look too good for me.
A result you might expect when a Division II wrestler takes on a Division I. But where they do match up is their level of support for one another. With photographer Thor Thompson, Tim Bullock, Campus News.
The brothers, originally from Wisconsin, live together and come to each other's meets as much as they can. When you go to college games with someone of the opposite gender, you run the risk of puckering up and broadcasting your love on the Jumbotron Kiss Cam. A brother and sister at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities hockey game found this out firsthand. They were put on the spot when their faces were featured on the Kiss Cam. Not wanting to be booed by the crowd, the brother had planned ahead. He pulled out a sign reading, "My sister," with an arrow pointing to his sister sitting next to him. After laughter and some applause from the crowd, the kiss cam moved on and the siblings watched the game in peace. So guys, have you guys ever been on the kiss cam?
Well, one time at a Twins game, I accidentally photobombed an old couple. Does that count?
Well, as long as you didn't join in with the old couple, I think we're okay.
I definitely did not. Magic, mind games, and humor had students both shocked and laughing.
Reporter Onizi Ohikari shows us an illusionist who performed for a packed audience at MSU Moorhead.
Don't blink. If you did, you just missed the illusion of Jared Sherlock.
I am super excited about the show. I've been talking about it all week to all my friends. I've been letting everyone know that it's happening.
And yes, it was happening. Jared Sherlock, an illusionist and comic magician, kept the theater alive with his tricks as he juggled balls and even stopped a paintball with his teeth.
One.
While some sat back and enjoyed the show, a few others had the chance to get on stage and become part of the show.
I was so nervous, I was shaking, but I was really excited to be up there.
They come up and you never know what anybody's going to say and what they're going to do, as we saw tonight, and it makes for a different show every night.
This is either going to be a miracle or the end of my career in Moorhead altogether.
As for Sherlock, he is quite sure of what he always wants for his audience.
I try and make the show really, funny and not too serious. Like I'm not like David Copperfield and doing all that stuff. So I don't know why I did this.
I loved it. I thought it was funny and entertaining. It was just great.
The audience's laughter can only give away how much fun the night was. With photographer Darby Fife, Benicio Hikari, Campus News.
Jared Sherlock performs at colleges, corporate events, and theaters across the nation. And that's it for this edition of Campus News.
We leave you with another look at Cosmic Bowling.
Thanks for joining us, and have a great week.
Campus News is produced by the Television News Workshop in the Department of Mass Communications at Minnesota State University Moorhead in cooperation with Prairie Public Television.